Hi there, and welcome back to another CFD cookie. And we are addressing paraview. We are doing qualitative and quantitative post-processing. We have covered a lot of concepts and probably too many concepts. But as you can see, there are many things to do in paraview. And let me address a few small issues with paraview. Still, we're going to work with the boat case. I guess also now I mentioned that we're going to do a proper tutorial how to set up these cases in OpenFOAM. Probably we're going to link it also with Fluent and do the comparison. But to revisit this case and to remind you that you have all the scripts to run it, you can do the mesh in serial and parallel. If you want, you can add. After you have the volume mesh, you can add the boundary layer. You have the script to run the simulation. Run all will do the steps. So it will be up to you to configure the case. And also here you have the folder scripts that we're going to talk about these scripts now to order the files and so on. Important that we mentioned in the previous tutorial, we introduced the filter extracts or the auction extracts in paraview, that you are extracting these VTK files, okay, and then you can do the post-processing. You are only extracting the information that you need. But exactly the same, no, you extract that from the solution in OpenFOAM, so you need to save all that solution. Honestly, this is the way I like to proceed. You need to save a lot of data, but you never know what precisely you need to extract. So after you have that data, you can extract that precise. No slice or isosurface or stringless, whatever you want. The other option is go into system. Remember that you have the function access in OpenFOAM and you have similar options. Okay, so you have cut planes, isosurfaces, streamlines. You have a lot of stuff. So later also probably we can work in another tutorial much simpler than this one, not much simpler, to show you all the options, but as you can guess, it's the standard options. Okay, so in this case, you can get your isosurfaces, only get the velocity, the type of interpolation, and so on. So this is, you do it on the fly. So usually, when it comes to isosurfaces, usually you don't know anything. You need to get a solution, and then you get what is the value that you want. Probably if you want something else, you need to adjust it again. So it can be a little bit tricky. But when it comes, for instance, cut planes, this is straightforward. Or you know where you want your the cut plane, and then what variables you want to save. But it is up to you. To mention something about when you do this, you are saving. Here you have auction VTK and size CFD, but what is important in OpenFOAM, you are saving VTK auction. When you do it in paraview, and at least if I will recall from paraview 6 and newer, I don't recall older, probably it's like that as well. And to stress that we're working with paraview 6.1, to mention something about the file formats. Okay, so you have one now, the legacy. Okay, the legacy is the VTK. Okay, what is called the VTK, with the one saved in OpenFOAM, and this is a serial format. It's not very efficient. It's not very fast. Instead, the VTKHDF, the one that we save with paraview, is the more modern format. It provides good I/O performance, and in parallel, it's very fast. So this is the format that is recommended. I don't know why the developers of OpenFOAM hasn't upgraded to the newest one. And well, I mentioned that we're doing some bytecoding. Probably, let's see if I manage to implement it with bytecoding. It's not that difficult, but just testing to see how good are those program. Those agents now to program. And then, well, you have another format, XML, that is similar to VTKHDF. Just to make it clear, if you go back here, look at that, you have extracts. This is a format that is super fast, very good format. Instead, remember that in post-processing, you save everything. And in this case, let me go to cut planes now and see here that you have the VTK. This is a slower format, okay? Not recommended, not very efficient, but it will be up to you. If you don't want to deal with that, I recommend you to save it inside format. Inside format, it is very efficient. So you have the auction as well. Here, you put it inside and you can get it now the most efficient format, or more efficient than the standard VTK. But you will need to deal with the new input file, but it's not big of a deal. Okay, so Now, just to recap, okay, remember, let me launch paraview 6.1. Also, if you are OpenFOAM user, Do not compile Paraphone, use the standalone version, it's much faster. And to show you what we have done so far, so you have also the paraview folder, and there you're going to have these tapes. Always remember here to point to the right location, so always point into the current directory, but sometimes I don't update that, so be careful about that. This is a small warning, don't pay attention to that. And this is what we were doing. This is a simulation. As I mentioned, later we're going to talk about the physics. For the moment, for the time being, we're just working with the colors. And these are the extractors, okay? So this is the one that you use to save this file here in the very efficient format. After you have the solution in OpenFOAM, you rerun, and you save only here. When you use these extracts, you are only saving this specific format. So you can make it smaller, filters, you can apply slices, you can apply thresholds to that data to limit the amount of information. It's extremely useful, especially when you are dealing with very large data sets. So remember also, you do multiple selections, and then when you go here, save extracts, put a folder, and that's all, okay? Okay, this is for this state. Let's take a look at the other state. And what we're doing is just revisiting the two previous videos to recall you what we have done. Okay, we haven't done anything new here. So feel free to skip this video. I'm just going to revisit that. Okay, so here we read the case, and then we have the residuals. So we have the function object saving the residuals, and this is interesting just to show you that on the fly you can plot the residuals. We introduced also in the previous video the live programming resource, and here you have it. No, this is the script to read the residuals. When we read it, also we divide. We extract the header. We know what is the title and so on of each header, so you have the field, time, and so on. So let me go here, and if I put it here, when we extract the header, look at that, you have alpha, water, K, omega, and then here you have time. We mentioned that this is very important. When you have time, you will be able to create the time annotator here, and you can synchronize the views. So look at these two residuals are exactly the same. This one corresponds to the live programmer source, that we have the time column. Be careful that the T has to be capital. And then this one corresponds to this residual, which we don't have the time column. We have just field 0, whatever. So field 0, if I were to recall here, is the time. And this is why we don't have the time annotator. But it's not a big of a deal just to have this time marker. I will show you that another filter. We have many filters. You can imagine that you have one to rename. So basically, if I press play, see that you can look at your slice here, and then you're moving your time annotator. In this case, we're accessing the whole solution, but also you can access now the VTK, the VTKHDF. We're going to see that. Okay, so let me stop here. So some things that they appear to be easy, but they are not like that easy. Let me stop it here. Sometimes it's because it's a little bit tricky to stop it. You need to click a few times, and there you go, I stop it. So I read the file. Be careful also here how I choose to read it, okay, because here below I'm skipping the first 3 lines. So it can be sometimes a little bit tricky. So maybe also you can create a script to manipulate that file. Honestly, it's very easy to do it here using the live programmable. If you want to use that live programmable source, you have here the options, commented the number of lines that you skip. But just to show you how to add this one, because this is a static residual, this one that we don't have the time column, how to add that time, and then add this annotate marker. So as you go filters, there is one that is called, there are many filters, and I know that you have rename. You can rename fields, point data, cell data, whatever. And in this case, I want to rename this one. I recall that field 0, it is the time. I call it time now, time with T capital, be careful. Apply. I have my new data set, so let me now put it here, rename, and look at that, you have your time data, and now automatically here, this one should, yeah, there you go. So it will see that, okay, you have the time column, the time descriptor, and okay, let's put down your time there, your time bar. And now everything will be perfectly synchronized. Just in case, I know I mentioned that in the previous video, but just in case, there you have the way to do it. So there are many small details like this. Okay, the header, if you put this name, it will automatically recognize and so on. So let me stop here. Also this one, you press a few times there. Okay, until it stops. It's a little bit temperamental. Okay, let's see when it will stop. Stop, please. It is stopped and restarted. Okay, there you go. Finally, stop. Okay, so now let's go and see the other create a reset session and load the state 3. Okay, everything is pointing to the right direction, right director. So look at here that now we're reading these files, and this one that I generate using this Python script. So later I will prepare a video to show that, or already mentioned in the previous videos that these scripts are just reading. So generate VTK series, and let me open this one. It will enter into the post-processing isosurfaces, the directory created by OpenFOAM, and it will manipulate the data, and it will move files, and it will create automatically these files. Okay. Or actually, it's not going to manipulate. It's going to see where do you have the files, and then it create these files. It will read the VTK file, and then it will attach a time. Okay. I know that this is my time, or even if you don't have the time, you can extract it from your log file or any post-processing file. So now that I do this, if I open this file, you are going to access directly all your VTK data, okay, with the time annotation. This end is for the VTKHDF. So if you open this one, okay, this is how the Python script read the files, and then will create the automatic file. Okay, so this is the one here. It's very similar to the previous one. Remember, this is the format that is very efficient. It's very always recommended to save in that. In OpenFOAM, you have the legacy VTK. And to show you the difference about that, for instance, okay, let me open here. And here I open the data. So this is the paraview extract, the VTKHDF. This is the OpenFOAM function object. So pretty much you get the same. Probably when it comes to isosurfaces, probably OpenFOAM, the VTK is nicer, but it's nicer just because the interpolation is done better in OpenFOAM and the data. But for the rest, it's exactly the same information. Look at that. We can link our residuals. We can link it to the data. So you have the time bar here, so you can track everything. As I mentioned, now that you have the isosurface and the information that you see here, it is only that isosurface that you extracted. So that's why it is very fast. Okay, and there you go. Everything now nicely synchronized. So follow your pipeline to know what is happening. But what I wanted to show you that now, okay, let me reset here. Reset session. And if I go here, open, you go to extracts. Now you have all this series, and let me open this one. No, let me open the isosurfaces. Okay, so here you have all your extracts. Open the slice, and as I mentioned, you can open everything here, and you have the information that you extracted from paraview or OpenFOAM or whatever solver, because even Fluent, commercial solver, they give you this option, and you're going to have it there. But the issue is that this VTK files doesn't contain the time information. So if I put here source of filters and annotate time filter, you have the iteration number, no, the file that you open. So see that you have 1, 2, 3. You don't have the time. So one thing that you can do when you extract those files, you can actually here with the VTKHDF, you need to encode that information when you directly read it from OpenFOAM in paraview. It's a little bit tricky. I find it easier to use this script, and now in this script, as I know precisely my time step, I can encode that information. So look at what happened that now, this is the one, I open this one, okay, apply, this one, now I should have filter, okay, let me erase somehow, delete this one, okay, there you go. I have the other previous, and there you go. So this is how you can add that time. There is a filter that you can also add the timestamp, but it's tricky to use. It's much easier now to manipulate your series file. Okay, so there is another format of the series file to read series of files. Okay, the same applies in the extracts or the VTK files. So yeah, this is what I wanted to show you. What is happening with these files? You have this script with this script. So in Python, you have it here. There is another one to move files, but the important here are these ones. So to run, just put it here in your root directory, and then you can extract. Remember that you reuse it for another case with different names. You will need to they define the names here, the location, and so on. Yeah, so it's up to you. It's very straightforward. Okay, so this is a recap just to show you this. Later videos, I'm going to show you how did I get this script. Now, if you are already experienced programming in Python, this will be straightforward, but some people, they're not very experienced or they are too lazy, so doing some bytecoding or agentic AI, we can get to this final result. So that's all for this video. In the next video I will show you, yeah, still working with this geometry, some other options and post-processing, how to compute volume, centroid, projected area, and so on, and doing also Boolean operations. So thank you for your attention and see you in the next video. Bye.